This is Battle for Normandy by GMT Games. We're playing the breakout scenario, and this is the situation at the end of 9th of June term. If we look at the Utah beachhead, the Allies pushed the Germans back again. Basically, there's two Allied divisions attacking a very weak German division, supported by a Kampfgruppen from the 243rd, plus a couple of garrison units coming out of Cherbourg, but they are losing ground quite heavily at this point. But it's not as bad as it thought. It looked like there was a major breakthrough in this sector last term, but it's not really continued that way. The big problem the Allies have got at the moment is they've got almost no combat supply points, and this is really hampering their ability to do anything. So they're basically reduced to attacking where they've got through one hex, basically, without any artillery, naval or air support. They did in this turn actually use a couple of multi-hex 3 CSP attacks, but they're not really in a position to do more than one or two of them a turn at this particular moment. And this is because we're getting supplies over the beaches, which aren't very good, and they're also heavily dependent on the weather. We need to get the two Mulberry Harbours up desperately, and we also need to capture Cherbourg as well, so we can get a reasonable amount of supply, and then we can start pushing against the Germans. Go further out here, the German 243rd is the 243rd. They've got reasonable artillery support, so it's very difficult to make any progress against them. 91st, they're reasonably well defended by artillery. They've sort of fallen back a bit as the 101st has marched into this vacuum around here, but the front's beginning to stabilise. You've got the 77th has just arrived here, so the 91st will be able to slot in over here and steady the front. So we're not totally worried about that. The big area the Germans have got here is trying to hold the Omaha situation back. The American 29th Division has been making steady progress against very weak German defence in this area. They've also advanced into these marshland areas here. Meanwhile, the 2nd Division has come from the beaches and is taken over what was the 29th slot. So that's moving into contact with the 17th SS there. The 50th Infantry Division. So what do they call them the 50th for? No, this is the American 1st Infantry Division, is sitting here pretty much saying to the Germans, well, if you're hard enough, come and attack us, but we haven't got enough combat supply to do anything aggressive. So we're basically standing off, positioned within hexes that aren't going to generate a need for a mandatory attack. Bayeux has fallen to the Allies. The Germans never really had a chance to get back. As soon as that bridge went there, it really doomed any German attempts to get back into Bayeux. Now the Germans have actually attacked. The 12th SS has made several attacks against the Allies line, against the 50th Infantry Division, but they didn't roll well. A combination of poor rolling and the fact that the Allied line is very strong. They've not really achieved anything. They've made a little dent in the Allied line, but nothing else. At the same time, you can say they haven't really lost many units either. They've just pushed the Allies back slightly. We've got Panzer has had an attack against the Canadian 2nd Infantry Division. It's the 2nd, yeah, the 2nd. No, that's a battalion. It's the 3rd Canadian 3rd Infantry, and it's supporting units. Again, they've not really made any progress. They just roll really badly. We go to the Cannes sector. It's very quiet. 21st is holding its ground there, refusing to get drawn into a major battle against the British 3rd Infantry. The paratroops here and the 6th Infantry across the Orne River. Germans are sort of putting a little bit of pressure on them, but they're not in a position to do any great attacks because the line's very weak from both sides, to be quite honest. Allies have got an infantry division here, the 51st, which is sitting in reserve. The 7th Armoured has gradually slotted into the line. Whoever thought it was a good idea to have the 7th Armoured and the 50th Infantry, both British, with the same colour, 2 units are actually going to sort of be in the same part of the front. Whoever thought that was a good idea is a bit daft. It's very easy to mistake the units. All in all, rules wise, I don't think we've made any rules errors this time. Everything's going reasonably successfully. The main problem I'm finding is at this state of the game is the actual amount of fighting has decreased rapidly, because it's really, while the Allies have this terrible supply problem, it's really up to the Germans to try and make some ground. But attacking these very thick Allied defences isn't going to be too successful. You're going to lose a lot of it. It might be better for the Germans just to say, right, we'll hold on until we get some more units up to the front. They haven't got a lot coming up. There's a very weak German infantry division over there, which is on its way to the front, which will slot into this massive gap here. That you'll probably find that the 17th SS is going to have to spread itself to cover this gap, even though it's not going to be able to keep all its units in supply. I suppose you could move the corps closer to give them general supply, the corps HQ over there. So things are starting to look a bit better for the Germans, and but I think the opportunity to knock the Allies off the continent is no hope. It never was a realistic opportunity, and particularly if the Allies managed to get enough combat supplies to get all these naval guns back in it, you're just going to get yourself blasted to pieces.